the podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Our next big live event coming up Thursday, May 17th at Bolingbrook Golf Club. It's Cigar Night with Larry Elder and me. We'll sit down, light up a couple of fine cigars, enjoy an adult beverage together, and discuss the big issues facing our country: cultural Marxism, race relations, immigration, taxes, guns. It's all fair game with Larry Elder and myself at Cigar Night. Tickets on sale right now. Premium tickets include a VIP meet and greet reception.
Ooh, do you think I could go? I'd love to meet you.
With the Sage of South Central and the Wizard of Wheaton.
Oh, is that what it's called? Nice. The Sage of South.
Well, they're not the Sage of South Central. That's obviously how Larry Elder's known.
But the Wizard of Wheaton. Nice.
Yeah, it's
moniker. I like it.
It's sort of awkward though and unseemly to give yourself a nickname, isn't it?
It's very Trump-like of you.
Yes, truly. Okay, that VIP meet and greet reception with Larry and me, along with a copy of Larry's forthcoming book, Complimentary Cigar. The last time we did this last year with Dennis Prager, it was a ton of fun. It sold out, even though it was sweltering. So go to 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Join Larry Elder and me on May 17. And this shooting on the campus of YouTube, their corporate headquarters yesterday in San Bruno, California. Do we have a case now of toxic veganism? Is this going to be a new epidemic that we need to confront, like toxic masculinity? Should we put age restrictions on vlogging, since that was the proximate cause of the shooter's anger?
Yeah, because they wouldn't let her make as much money as she was by her YouTube channels, and they did have an age restriction. This is one of her last vlogs.
I'm being discriminated and filtered on YouTube, and I'm not the only one. So recently, they also attacked my Persian channel, Nassim Sabs. And if you go and check my videos, you see that my new videos hardly get views, and my old videos that used to get many views stopped getting views. So this is because I'm being filtered. And another thing, they age restricted my ab workout video.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Well, they demonetized her channel, and she was upset, and her family members knew that she was upset, and they reported her missing, and she drove from San Diego to that location and used a handgun, shot 3 people, and then fatally turned the weapon on herself.
Fascinating sense of entitlement that's conveyed in some of her YouTube postings, too, particularly as she has a grievance against YouTube. I have a right to this platform in the way that I want to access and utilize this platform, private enterprise. But, of course, that's the entitlement attitude of the left. For more on this topic, as well as the discussion we've been having all week of Sinclair Media, as they're taking a pounding from the D.C. left echo chamber. We're pleased to be joined by our friend David Harsanyi, who's written on the gun issue. He's nationally syndicated columnist. He is also senior editor at TheFederalist.com. His book, The First Freedom, A Guide Through America's Enduring History with the Gun from the Revolution to Today. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
So what about that YouTube shooting yesterday? First and foremost, it doesn't fit any of the left's preconceived notions about gun owners or gun violence, and so what is a leftist to do when trying to make sense of it?
Well, I saw that everyone, at least in the Twitterverse, was preemptively, coming up with reasons and blaming the NRA. I think Nancy Pelosi even tweeted something out about that, and it's kind of a shame because it means that we actually won't have any kind of fruitful discussion on how to help or to, with this sort of violence, which is obviously someone who's unhinged in a way, and that's a problem for us as a country. But moreover, it just shows that nothing really changes in this debate. This story will be forgotten very soon because it doesn't fit the narrative, and we'll move on and wait for the next tragedy before we have the same exact debate over and over again.
But does she have a point, though? I mean, they demonetized her channel. They're telling her what she can and cannot.
Have a point?
No, not a point. I'm just saying by being angry over what they decide is what was right is wrong. And I mean, what happened to her is what's happened to PragerU, although they handled it quite differently, just a little bit differently. But I mean, they are deciding what we can process as customers, what we can see.
I think it's like scaling your response, right? I think YouTube can, enact whatever policies it likes, and and hopefully if it's doing something unfair to certain types of people, then the market will work out, and some other outlet will open and help those people or whatever. I don't think she has any right to be on YouTube. She has no right to consumers there. And her reaction obviously was, unhinged. So I don't really know what she's talking about exactly. So I guess I don't know enough about her grievances, but I know that her reaction is out of line. And she did seem to have a sense of entitlement that she should be on there and that she should have viewers. It's not how it works. I mean, I'd like to have as many readers as George will, but I don't. Doesn't mean I can go out and start acting like a crazy person.
So yeah, right. Plus you don't have the time to poach all of George Will's readers. You got to produce material. So here's the other question though, is a more broader question about social media. So Mark Zuckerberg sat down with Ezra Klein over at Vox and talked about how Facebook is, working to learn the lessons from 2016 when it comes to fake accounts and the like. And there was something that I found a bit disturbing in terms of what he said. Zuckerberg, he talked about subsequent to 2016 working with the French government in advance of their election, working with the German government in advance of their election. The idea of big, powerful media companies like Facebook working with governments, ours and foreign governments, to filter news, to filter content, that's a bit more concerning. That's a little bit more than just a private actor.
I don't know. I mean, I think that it is a problem. The way Google has acted is a problem. The way Facebook acts is a problem. But, I mean, I have no right to be on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook that much. I mean, I think if they continue to work with governments and they continue to trade on the data they've mined about people, though, let's be honest, that's the point of social media. They sell your data to people so they can sell you things, third parties, and so forth. I don't have to be on social media. I don't have to be on Twitter. Still, we can make arguments that these, that Twitter, that a good corporation would treat people fairly and equally, and I think that those are arguments. But I get nervous that there are folks out there, mostly on the left, but recently on the right, who want to treat these big companies like utilities, and then sort of regulate them as utilities. I think that's dangerous for free speech, just in general.
Yeah, no, agreed with that. But I mean, the idea not of using antitrust regulation as Trump sort of made a veiled threat in the direction of Amazon. Totally disagree with that. But the idea of raising these issues for discussion and dissemination so people understand what Facebook or any other company is doing.
Absolutely. Facebook, I mean, they're a bunch of hypocrites. They allowed the Obama administration to use data. Everyone praised the way they used the data. They looked the other way to target certain voters. And when other companies during 2016 were using that data in the same way to target conservatives, they tried to stop them from doing it. So I'm not a fan of Facebook at all, and I think it's the way it acts is partisan and not very good for so-called democracy at all. So
I really like the article you wrote yesterday about you titled it "The Freak Out Over Sinclair." How do you think this story is going to end?
All these things that we just spoke about sort of have a common thread, which is free will. All of a sudden we're acting like people have no free will to switch a channel, to get off Facebook, to use a different outlet for their videos, and so on. The Sinclair thing's a joke. I mean, listen, I wouldn't want to be told to say something I didn't believe in, though I found what these anchors were saying pretty innocuous in general. But the idea that this is somehow different than what CNN is up to, or MSNBC, or Fox, or anyone else is just seems to be a big joke to me.
Well, I think the reaction, right, is, and it's sort of covered in your piece too at thefederalist.com, but it's the DC press corps echo chamber isn't upset about echo chambers. It's upset about what's reverberating through them. Only their echo chamber. Nobody else gets an echo chamber where content is runs counter to their orthodoxy. That's essentially the point, it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're acting in concert without laying it out and without a script to work off of doesn't mean that you're not all agreeing and sort of saying the same thing anyway. Moreover, I'm not sure what they expect is going to happen when you have, and again, listen, I think there are plenty of good reporters and plenty of good journalists breaking news, but when you have a general direction that the entire mainstream media is headed in, and a bias that's embedded and has been for decades, that at some point people aren't going to look for alternatives to view. I mean, everyone likes to hear the things that that they believe in, and I'm not sure why Sinclair should be treated, as some sort of outlier when it's just simply not the case.
Well, it reminded me, too, of that CNN commercial about the apples and the bananas.
Yeah, I mean, they make mistakes all the time. Now, I'm not saying I think their mistakes are bias of a different sort. It's the sort of thing where you have a preconceived notion about Donald Trump, and you have all your coverage is aimed in one direction, and you make mistakes because you believe these things to be true without compiling enough evidence. That is a kind of bias as well. And I think when CNN reports something, or whoever, that's wrong, obviously the correction will never get as much attention, and that's a problem too out there. We have misinformation. It's not purposeful fake news, but it's just as bad in many ways, in the end.
He is David Harsanyi, nationally syndicated columnist, senior editor at thefederalist.com, where you can check out his piece on the furor over Sinclair. Also, his book, First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun, From the Revolution to Today. David, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.